Hi, I'm Malcolm Turnbull. I'm the Communications Minister, and I'm here with Mari Johnson and Hala Bataina to talk about girls in ICT, or why there aren't more girls studying ICT. Right now we have a big problem. Not enough kids are doing STEM subjects at school and university, and the proportion of girls is far too low. So, Mari and Hala, both of you have spent your working lives in ICT and been very successful. You're running, Mari, the Centre for Digital Business here in Canberra. Hala, you're the Federal Director for Microsoft here in Canberra. So what's the problem and what can we do about it?
Well, Malcolm, I think it's a problem about telling a narrative. And I know that when I was a young girl growing up, the inspiration for me and my generation was the Apollo program. So much so that I wrote to Neil Armstrong and received a letter back, which is still on my wall. And so that is a compelling, inspirational, generational narrative. And that's the story I think we need to tell. Like, this isn't about ICT, this is about understanding the world and how it works.
So what do you think, Hala? You're a computer scientist. Why aren't there more girls like you who study computer science and then go on to great things at Microsoft and indeed many other companies?
Well, I think for me it's very much what you see is what you believe. And I don't think that girls coming through, whether it's in primary school or high school or even in university, have enough role models. Symbols that show them what it could look like. And especially if I go back to the supply problem that we are all talking about at a young primary age, what are the role models that are available to young girls? You know, you've got teachers teaching robotics, for example. My son, my 9-year-old boy, plays robotics at school. It is programming race cars. It's programming, you know, how to have a robot move around. That might not be as interesting for a girl, but if we could find some examples that would work for girls, I think the story, as Mari was saying, changes, and the opportunity for creativity and innovation, which is what ICT is all about.
Yeah. The whole exciting, amazing, modern world we live in has been created by ICT professionals. You know, with this, in large part, we live in a world that is imagined by people with the very qualifications you've got. And yet, according to Sheryl Sandberg, who I was talking with about this a little while ago, the percentage of girls doing computer science at university is less now than it was 30 years ago. And yet it's a much more exciting world.
It's a systemic collapse, and I personally would call it a human potential crisis. It's not only in Australia, it's elsewhere around the world. And I think we have an education system that has a rigid paradigm about education. And really this is about having curious, inquisitive minds that continue to challenge the way the world is and ask why. And that's how we innovate, by applying those sort of creative thinking skills. So I think part of it is reimagining what technology and technology education is all about. It's about reimagining what a career actually is, and I don't think we have a narrative that does that.
Yeah.
Hala, lots of girls do law and medicine. In fact, those enrolment in those professional courses is more than 50% female. So what is it about ICT that the trend is going the other way?
Yeah, okay, I get that, but law and medicine have had hundreds of years to catch up. So the fact that it's evolved in the last 50 years to include more women, frankly, it's not necessarily a good example because it's taken hundreds of years. Now, the thing about ICT, we are, comparatively speaking, a younger industry, right? Okay, but we're actually evolving a lot faster. You just have to look at the pace of technology and how quickly things are evolving. So we can't really afford to take the same time frame that we took for medicine and for law to IT. It just wouldn't work. We will be losing out on the digital economy. We will not be contributing to the competitiveness of Australia, not only in terms of our own country or the region, but worldwide. So I think we just can't afford it.
Okay, so the problem is not enough kids are doing ICT and not nearly enough of those that are doing it are girls. So what are we going to do about it? What do you think, Hala?
Well, I'd like us to start a lot earlier. in terms of introducing science into the schools, introducing IT into the schools, but not as a standalone, here's your computer, go and let's do some games, or I'll teach you this particular app. Really looking at that just as a tool, and teaching creativity and teaching how do you bring the tools that are available to you, of which technology is one part of it.
So do you mean integrating machine languages and programming into every subject?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That would be a nice start.
Yeah, because they are integrated into every discipline. What do you think, Murray?
Look, my view is that it is based on problem solving, has to be creative thinking. There is also has to be, if you like, loosening of some of the rigidity in the education system and the messages that that's bringing. So, for example, not doing certain subjects until you're in a certain grade. If you don't, do maths by the time you're in year 10, then it's too late. So my lesson, my message to girls is it's never too late. My message for the education system is that it has to be far more inspirational, and there is if you like, almost a moral requirement for role models to help with this message.
Well, you're both as great role models doing that today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.